Hey everybody, welcome back to Everything Ham Radio. This week we're going to be talking about the Kenwood TM-D710G, so stick around. Hey everybody, welcome back to Everything Ham Radio. My name is Curtis, my call sign is Kilo 5 Charlie Lima Mike, and like I said, today we're going to be talking about the Kenwood TM-D710G. But before we get into that, please make sure you click on that subscribe button down the bottom right hand corner and the bell icon so you don't miss anything. This month we're having a series on youth and amateur radio, so make sure you tune in on Tuesdays for those. Okay, let's go ahead and get on to the overview of this radio. Now, this radio retails right now on Amazon for $553.95. Now, it does have a very large screen on it. It is a true dual band radio, meaning that you can receive on both VHF on both bands. You can receive both UHF, or you can receive VHF and UHF. And like I've said in many videos before, this is one thing that is a must for radio that I buy. So it is definitely number one on my requirements for any radio, whether it's a mobile or an HT. Now, this radio has a 4-star rating on Amazon with 30 customer reviews. A lot of them very good reviews. I didn't really see a whole lot that were really bad, but like I said, 4 stars. There is 1,000 multifunction memory channels. Now with that, what I'm saying is that you have 1,000 memory channels, and along with this 1,000 memory channels, there is also up to 5 different operating profiles you can have with this radio. So I'm not sure if this is a 1,000 memory channels per 5 operating modes, or if the 5 operating modes are settings wise, which is probably what I'm thinking. It's what I'm geared more towards, on settings for Echolink and for APRS and stuff like that. I believe that's probably what it's for. If you know, please leave a comment in the section below. Now, there's a very wide receive on this radio as well. You can receive from 118 megahertz up to 524 megahertz, and then it skips to 800 megahertz to 1300 megahertz, or 1.3 gigahertz. So you can actually receive the 1.2 gigahertz band as well as the 800 megahertz band. Of course, cell phone is blocked, which is typically around 900 and some. Now, like I said, the screen is a very large screen. It has a lot of information on it, and there is 2 different color options. You can choose a green or an amber. Now, with this detachable, or with this detached screen, and I say detached because it is not a detachable screen. You cannot attach it to the radio itself. However, it does come with 2 mounting brackets for the faceplate. One of them is angled more towards a desktop use, which would be angled up a little bit more. Will be angled up some so you can see it when it's sitting on your desk. The other mounting bracket is for when you're mounting it in a vehicle, and it's typically like a pretty well straight on type view. The panel can also, or the faceplate can also be flipped upside down and still work. And another feature that I really look forward to is an independent squelch and volume knobs for both sides of your radio. This radio does have it. You can control the squelch independently on your A and B bands, and your volume independently on your A and B bands. It does have multiple power outlet outputs, just like typical. This one, it has 50 watts for high, 10 watts for medium, and 5 watts for low power. On the back of the radio, it has a single output, so you don't have to worry about buying a duplexer, because it is a dual band, so you're going to have some kind of diplexer to have one antenna. It also has a 6-pin mini DIN socket to use for external TNC. It has a 8-pin mini DIN socket for a PC connection, and it has 2 of those. And it also has dual speaker jack outputs. Okay, this radio also has a built-in GPS, and with that GPS, you can store up to 5,000 GPS points in the internal memory. Now, what that equates to is roughly 14 hours worth of GPS data at a 10-second interval. But on top of that, there is 100 personal waypoints that can be saved. On top of that, it has the target point function, which allows you to set 5 points, and the radio will do it in real time on which direction you need to go and how far away you are from it. Now, on top of this, it has a built-in grid square locator. You can set it up to where it'll show your grid square on your screen at all times, and it'll automatically update when you go into a different grid square. Okay, moving on. This also has a built-in TNC, a terminal node controller. Now, this can be used for APRS, and with the combination of the TNC and the GPS, this radio is a standalone APRS system. You don't have to have anything else in order to use APRS. You can also use this for doing packet communications. You can hook this radio to your computer and use it for packet, or use it for IGate terminal operations. The functions of the APRS in this radio: you have a station list, which you can pull up. It will show the last 100 stations that have been received by your radio, and you can list these by call sign, by receive time, and by distance from you. There is a message function. Messages can be sent and received between APRS-operating stations using this radio. In addition to keyboard input using the included microphone, easy mobile operation has been pursued with a inclusion of automatic reply and set message functions. A special call function also lets you know the instant you receive a message from a dedicated station. And it also has what is called a QSY function. Now, QSY means to move to a different frequency. Now, with APRS, one of the things that you can set in there is you can set a voice frequency that you're talking on. So whenever you're traveling, say, and you're monitoring 146.52, the National Simplex calling frequency. If you're monitoring that and you have your APRS beaconing in the background, you can have that you have voice on such and such a frequency. So you can, that will be transmitted out, and if somebody else has this type of radio, or if you have this type of radio and you receive a message saying, okay, I'm on 147.010, you can press a button and it'll automatically change your voice frequency to that frequency, so you can talk to whoever you just received a message from, which is very nice, and is one of the things that APRS was developed for, but that's a different story. One more thing about the APRS: it has a smart beaconing function. Now, smart beaconing, I'm not sure if you know what that is. Again, it's something that is potentially for a different thing, but in a nutshell, smart beaconing adjust the rate that you transmit your location depending on your speed. And then on top of that, whenever you change directions, it will also send a beacon. So if you're driving due east and you come to a stop sign and you turn north, it's going to send a beacon out because of the change of direction. So you get a more accurate, detailed map of where you've been later on, or other people can see it, a more detailed map of where you are. One of the other things that I mentioned in the last video, which I'll put a link to right here in the top, was the SKYCOMMAND. Now, this radio is a very neat use of the SKYCOMMAND. You can connect this radio with an HF radio, a Kenwood HF radio, and control your HF radio through this radio. You can change the frequency, change the power outputs, and change other fixtures. I'm not exactly sure how much you can change, but I know you can change features. And then on top of that, you can actually set it to where your HF radio goes across a 2-meter side of your D710, and you can come out on a simplex frequency, so you can talk on HF through your VHF mobile radio. So that's pretty cool. There is a Echolink Sysop mode, which you can connect this radio to a computer that has Echolink running, and you can use it as a Echolink node to talk on onto the Echolink system. And you can do this all at the same time while you're using it as a digipeater and an IGate. So all three functions can be used at the same time, which again is really neat. You can receive weather alerts. This device will emit a warning tone whenever a severe weather alert comes out. And it doesn't have to be on the weather channel. It'll actually scan those frequencies every so often to get those alerts. You can buy an optional voice guidance module, which is the VGS1, and I will put a link in the description of this video to that daughter board that you have to plug in and buy separately. I'll put a link in the description below for that. But you can put this in here, and it will audibly say different aspects of your radio or APRS messages that you receive, things like that. So next week we're going to be going back to the handheld version of radios. We're going to be talking about the Kenwood TM-D710G. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and click on the bell icon so you don't miss next week's video on the Kenwood TM-D710G, and all the videos I'm going to be putting out for youth in the hobby this month. So until next time, y'all, I'll talk to you later. 73.